Why do I create always these needy pets who are always in need of attention? People say cats are detached and and cold and detached. Why are you so needy? Do tell me. Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm Miss Know-It-All. And yeah, I'm a dog person, but my cat adopted me. And just let's talk about random things, but positive ones, shall we? All right, right. One of the things I take into consideration is to always stay positive but realistic. I mean, there has to be a balance of those two. I've seen that because I've seen a lot of people who call themselves realistic, but they're nihilistic actually. Nihilistic. How do you pronounce nihilistic in English? Nihilist. Nihilist? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that in English. I just don't know how to pronounce that in English because some people, they just say, oh, I'm just being realistic. I'm just like, you're just being bitter. So you can be positive and realistic. That's a good, healthy balance you're going to have to achieve. Especially because you know what? In order to grow old, you have to be realistic in life. But in order to grow old, you also need to stay positive. And I know what you're going to say. Victoria, I can't be positive. Shit is raining down my ceiling. Well, you can have a dark sense of humor, especially if there's shit in the room. No, for real. Sense of humor is one of the things that will make life tolerable, and it will make it easier to just deal with. Having a positive attitude has been linked to having lesser health issues, and it's one of the many reasons also having faith is one of the main reasons why people who are going through grief, it has been studied. I went through it when I was in medical school and I was teaching mental health, in the department of mental health. There was these studies that proved that religious people actually had a better chances of surviving different diseases because they stayed positive and they had faith that even if things went south and they just lost their lives, there was a chance there was something better on the other side, you know? And even those who went through grief because they're on the final countdown, quite literally so, they were, you know what? It is what it is. It had to come at one point. This is the will of God. I had a good life. There is something better on the other side. And that alone made the final moments either more pleasant, less difficult. There were multiple indicators. And they were more capable of getting to the role of acceptance. Because on the 5 stages of grief, you have denial, anger, negotiation, and they can go always out of order, you know? But in those 5 stages, the final one it is considered to be acceptance. A lot of people die in the denial phase. They just are in denial. The fact acceptance community is actually a very good example of this. They're in a constant state of denial, and very few of them actually achieve a level of acceptance, and if they do, it is a quite depressing one. The level of acceptance I'm talking about is a positive one, not a, oh, there's nothing I can do. Oh, let's give up. Let's give up. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm being melodramatic today. I'm being extra spicy. I had a little bit of chimichurri and Tabasco sauce, but I had no idea we'd get this spicy. No, for real. You can balance out realism and acceptance with positivism. I would never recommend. And I kind of hate how some people, especially those who are very much academic and they're in the academia, and I'm not. And now I just realize that might be considered in your culture as a sign of people doing drugs. But no, in my culture, being like this, and having your nose a little bit up, it's because you're snobbish. You're like snob. I don't know. So it's not about drugs. This is not about drugs. It's about being snobbish and just thinking that you're better than everyone else. And you're being a snob. And you're just like, I'm better than you. That's why my nose is up. I'm looking at you like this because I'm just better than you. Oh. So doing this in my country, I just realized it's about being snobbish, but that's about drugs. That's the one. So I have seen a lot of people in the academia, going back to the snobbish people, when they want to think they're better than someone else, they tend to dish out on Christians, especially Catholicism, because that's fashionable. And they try to say, oh, I'm a realist. I'm not delusional. I'm just like, honey, Delulu is this Lulu. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The Lulu is the Salulu. They tend to be quite, like, I've seen the other day, it was today or the other day, I don't remember, a video in which a man was explaining why so many people are being so pessimistic nowadays. And it's kind of fashionable to be. And it's just like the type of ideas they just flag around. It's just a form of showing like status. It's just like that model of snob man from the 70s that we have, and 70s and the 90s. The guy with a black turtleneck, and it's just like, his wine in the hand, or with cognac or something like that, and depending on the era, glasses, and he's reading, I'm having now Tchaikovsky, but it's not Tchaikovsky. Wait. I know, Tchaikovsky is the music. I know. Wait a second. It was the guy. It's the Russian guy. Oh, such a heavy reading. It's such a heavy book. Wait a second. I can't remember the book name. I can't remember. It's a philosopher. Nietzsche! It's Nietzsche! I knew it. It's just like, everyone's like, oh. I read Nietzsche, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to hold my tea. I'm an elevated soul because I read Nietzsche, and I'm just like, I'm better than you, And I'm a realist. And I don't believe in those delulu things of religion and, feelings. It's just that there's for pathetic plebs such as yourself. Why am I holding the tea like this? But the type of individual, and there is this fashionable thing that shows status. That it's just like, I am fashionable and I'm better than you because I'm a realist, and therefore I'm pessimistic, deeply pessimistic, because nothing good happens in reality. I'm like, what kind of thinking is that? What kind of thinking is that? Oh my God. And it's just like this postmodernistic thing. It's just like a very recent postmodernism thing, because modernism, the end of modernism, I think it was marked by the end of World War II. Let me check that for a second. Give me 1 second. So yes, I was right. It was post World War II, because this is the thing. In anthropology and sociology, I'm reading the Spanish version, so I'm translating as I go. That's not a good thing. Let's change it to English. That way I don't have to translate, because I can't coordinate two students at the same time. It's just no. Well, in the Spanish version of Wikipedia, it started to name brand the postmodernism as something that started in 1970s. However, when you change it to English, Wikipedia says Postmodernity or postmodern condition, postmodernity, is the economic or cultural state or condition of society which is said to exist after modernity. Some schools of thought hold that modernity extended in the late 20th century, in the 80s or in the early 90s. So, even in Wikipedia, depending on which version of Wikipedia you read from, if it's in Spanish, you're going to read it from the 70s, and to be honest, it makes sense that it's from the 70s, because the 70s is the cause of all evil. No, I'm messing with you. French Revolution is French Revolution is the start. And ironically, if you start reading like the actual ideas that led to the French Revolution and the actual concept of what happened during the French Revolution, it's a lot of things that happened later on the World War II, on the 1970s. It's just a lot of those ideas trickled down into multiple genocides and into everything that we're going through right now. That's just a little note. But according to the English version of Wikipedia, postmodernity, it's something that was born in the 80s. Yeah, because the 70s didn't happen. And all this eternal cynicism is just something that they've just been for a while now. And, okay, so, is the state of condition of being postmodern, after or in reaction to that which is modern, as in postmodern art, as in postmodernism. It's too much English at this hour. My brain is not Englishing correctly. Modernity is identified as a period or condition loosely identified with the progressive era, the Industrial Revolution, or the Enlightenment. Those are three different phases. What are you talking about? In philosophy and critical theory, postmodernity refers to the state or condition of society which is said to exist after modernity. Wow, you need to be a critical theorist to come to the conclusion that post means after. A historical condition that marks the reasons of the end of modernity. I mean, it's after modernity, so of course. This usually is ascribed to the philosophers Jean-François Lyotard and Jean Baudrillard. Postmodernity then represents the culmination of this process. Constant change has become the status quo as the notion of progress obsolete. Following Ludwig Wittgenstein's critique of the possibility of absolute and total knowledge, Lyotard further argued that the various meta... I don't know how to pronounce it in English. I would pronounce it in Spanish first to process that. Metanarrativas, meta-narratives of progress, such as positivist science, Marxism, and structuralism, were defunct as methods of achieving progress. What is defunct? I'm so sorry, but I want to know. And I won't translate the article to Spanish because I have noticed that the definitions are completely different. They were written as different articles and they have different definitions. So I'm not going to translate it from there. Defunct. In English, defunct. Late. It's extinct. Late disease. Defunct. No longer existing, according to the translation in Spanish. So, apparently Marxism is no longer cool. Who would have known? Yeah. You would think that's not the case. For what people are trying to push, that's just... I mean, who would have known? Kids, Marxism is no longer cool. Have you heard that? Anywho, let's see. All right. So I see this increasing pressure of, I know, it's just this idea that being a sensible individual entails that you cannot be positive. And it's quite an odd position to have. It's very much the opposite. This is the strangest thing. It kind of tells me that you have never gone through actual issues in your life. If you're so pessimistic that you just dwell on the issues of the past, if you dwell on the issues of I don't know, if you dwell on the issues, you have never gone through true issues. And this is something I'm not just basing on my own personal experience, it's just that modernity, it happened during World War II. Like, people were going through the worst of the worst that you could imagine. And what was their attitude? Stay positive, stay calm, stiff upper lip. You know? It's just like, let's do this. We can go through this. Yes, you got this, bitch. It was difficult to say that. All right, but you got the feeling, you know? It's just like, you got this. We can do this. We can defeat everything. We can go to the freaking moon and back. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's get it done. Just like, yeah, that was the attitude. That was the spirit. And what did the boomers did during the 70s? Oh yeah. Nothing can be done. Nothing can be changed. No effort is worth nothing. Yeah. Being positive, that's for losers and plebs. That's for the pleb, you know? That's just... Oh wait, the eyeliner. That's for the plebs. Because you see, I'm a thinker. I think and I see things nobody sees. And I know that nothing means nothing. I'm 14 and this is deep. And they have this teenage attitude towards life. And it's just like, green eyeliner, by the way. I'm gonna been looking forward to use it. I just don't know how to use it yet. They have this very pessimistic life. On life. It's just, how do you live with your soul being such a burden to everyone around you? I mean, it sounds like it's difficult to breathe around you. Tell me you haven't gone through anything serious without telling me you haven't gone through anything serious. It's just... And they're so pessimistic. And this is something I was always accused of. Oh, just... My favorite one. Just... Wait a second. My favorite one. What happens is you're too innocent. You haven't lived enough. When you have gone through enough things, when you have seen enough things, when you have an understanding of life like I do, you will be as pessimistic as I am. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. You're too innocent. You're too young. But when you get to the point I am, you will know. Like, how condescending can you be? How do you know what I've been through, bitch? How do you know? You don't. The truth is, nobody knows. And the truth is, you never know. That's why I'm always insisting that you should be polite to everyone in life. Because even in your worst days, because you never know what the other person is going through, you know? You can... A random smile in the street. I know it can be dangerous, so be judicious about that one. Because someone might take it the wrong way and actually harm you. Just be careful, alright? Not to go around smiling to everyone. But, you know, sometimes receiving it from a stranger, a random smile, can do a difference in your day. And make it a little bit nicer. I'm not saying you should go, la 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 la, across life, just like Disney princess law. But, and even this is the thing, this is the issue. Even Disney princesses are not like dumb. The people who have gone through horrible stuff, and this is pretty much the attitude that they had back in the day, is that, you know what, life sucks. If anything, you can read on German tales. Almost all of them agree on the same thing. Life freaking sucks. But you know what? If you remain kind and pure and obedient, I kind of question that last one. That's okay. And hopeful and pious and with devotion to what is good and right. One day you will be out of it, eventually. One day darkness will end and everything will get better. Just don't go bitter. You know, it's just... And don't be lazy. And don't be gluttonous and annoying. And then ironically, the 70s is kind of about... And the postmodernism is pretty much the very opposite of that mentality. And they think they're better than everyone else just because... And I quote... We are realistic, you know, and therefore we're depressive, annoying, and pessimistic, you know. It's just such a silly way of seeing the world. It's just, no, that's not true. And the thing is, if anything, it has proved to us that hope and optimism carry humanity through the darkest of times more often and more efficiently than any form of pessimism. So if you can take anything outside my poor acting skills, you know, if you can take anything out of these videos, please try to stay optimistic through the darkness while being realistic. Those two things are not against each other. They're not conflagratory. They're not opposed. Both things can live in harmony. Both things can be true. Both things can be real. Both things can happen at the same time and will happen. And if anything, if you remain realistic while being optimistic, no fucking way, no one can stop you. Like, no one. The very purpose of almost every enemy you will ever have is to destroy your morale. Both in the religious sense, one of the things the priest always says that the devil wants to take hope out of people to drive them to madness and to just themselves, you know? And when it's not, even if you're not religious, you have to think about it from a tactical way. Why do you think psychological warfare is a thing? If optimism and hope are so little importance and really don't matter, then why psychological warfare is so effective and so important? That's because it matters. And if you're strong, and by the way, being optimistic is not being weak. Being optimistic and hopeful is not a weakness like they're trying to portray nowadays in Disney princesses, like, oh, she was hopeful, and they see it as a weakness. She was strong. What are you talking about? Remaining hopeful through the darkness requires strength. Because I can assure you, even though they say that Pandora is the last thing, thanks to Pandora's myth, that hope is the last thing to leave, I can assure you, it can leave you quite a few times. Okay? We're all the Pandora of our box. We all have to take care of that box and ensure that hope never leaves, because it will lead you. And it's really hard to go through life being pessimistic. I'm very annoying to everyone around you. For the love of God, stop doing that. You're not smart, you're not strong, you're not empowered just because you're pessimistic and annoying. Alright? So please, someone can be smart, intelligent, educated and realistic at the same time, and being hopeful and optimistic. All of those things can happen at the same time. If anything, if someone can achieve all those 5, 6 things at the same time, nothing in the freaking world can stop them. For real. They're the ones who usually conquer and fight and end the Nazis. Now, if you excuse me, I have to attend Her Royal Highness here. Yes, my love. I have to attend her, so if you excuse me, I have to leave you. So please remember, don't let the enemy defeat you. Whether it's a spiritual warfare, an actual warfare, I don't care what you're going through. It may be your own warfare against your own demons, I don't care. You can be smart, you can be strong, you can be realistic and optimistic. Please hold on to hope and hang on. Stay calm and try to smile a little bit and be nice. You never know what you're going through and the other person in front of you is going through. Stay safe, stay somewhat sound and be kind, please. Have a good day and a good night. I'm going to tend my cat. See you.